Hello, I'm Dasha, I'm from Canada, and today we're going to talk about Stranger Things. So the episode we're looking at is episode 6 from the second season. And in that episode, what happens is basically everything that happened in the first season of the series gets brought up in this episode. A lot of the loose ends get tied up and a lot of progress is made in the plot line that will continue on in the next episode. So it's a very important episode, not just plot-wise, but also with some really key phrases that a lot of people use in English. So the first phrase that we hear in this scene is to be up to. Usually it's using to be up to something. But in this context, what Murray is saying to the two characters sitting across from him is that your parents would be proud to know what you are up to. So what you were up to is kind of like when you have in this context, he's praising them for coming to him and giving him information on what happened in the first season. So what they're up to is them kind of leaving their house, leaving their town, going to find him, giving him the information, that kind of plan, that kind of goal that they have, because they're not doing it just for nothing. They're up to something. They're up to something specific. So that's the context that he uses it in. Usually when people use it is sometimes to say that someone is doing something, they have a plan also, but more in mischievous ways. So you'll probably hear this in TV shows like, oh, you're up to something, or so that means like if someone says it to someone else, that means that the character is up to no good usually, or has a plan with their own kind of ambitions that they want to fulfill. So the next phrase is take your time. So in the context of the scene, Will is in a government facility, kind of like in a hospital, but also government. And he had just woken up from a big coma. And they're asking him if he remembers people. And then they tell him this, take your time. So when you use this phrase to someone, you're telling them to kind of not rush themselves, not to hurry. Because usually people sometimes get stressed or worried if someone asks them something and they're like, I don't know what to answer. So in this case, take your time is a great phrase to use to kind of soothe and calm down the person. So the next phrase is this'll do or that'll do. So in the context, Steve uses the phrase this'll do. What does it mean? It means basically that the place that they were looking for with the kids to fight the monsters, to trap them and kill them, is good enough. Whenever you want to use this phrase, it just means whatever you're talking about is good enough. Like a place that you're going to is good enough. If someone did enough work at work, like if they did a project and you're like, okay, this'll do or that'll do, that's good enough. Usually it's kind of a signal for someone else to stop too, especially if it's like a project. So, or if someone's talking, you could also say, oh, that'll do. Like you can end them speaking to you by saying that, like that'll do, this'll do, it's good. Like it's a bit rude to say that to someone. Usually bosses say that to their subordinates if they're trying to explain something. If the employee made a mistake and they're trying to explain themselves and the boss just doesn't want to hear, they can say that'll do. And just in case you get confused when to use this or that, basically this, like if something in front of you, this, you can just use this, it'll do. That is more like a little bit more abstract, so that'll do. That was it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.